Okay, here is a version of Naive by the Kooks. Okay, first thing, I realise I played that really badly. First thing to note on here, to play along with the original, I've got a capo on at fret 4. So if you want to play the guitar part along with the original, you're going to need a capo on or transpose the chords. But for now, for the purposes of this, we're going to actually do it at a slightly lower key because it makes it slightly simpler for everybody, especially the keyboard player and the bass player as well. So we're actually going to move it down. Instead of playing up here, we're going to move it down, so we're playing without a capo. Okay, there are various degrees of complexity you can choose to play this. Simple version first. Ignore the guitar intro and solo line, but just have a actually look at the chord sequence. You need the chords E minor, C, D and G. Just to run through those really quickly. Starts off with the chord of E minor, dead easy. Remember, string 6 is nearest your head, string 1 is nearest the floor, then the frets number up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. So E minor chord is with your left hand, finger number 1, string 5, fret 2, finger number 2, string 4, fret 2, chord of E minor. Second chord is a chord of C, so finger number 1, string 2, fret 1, finger number 2, string 4, fret 2, and finger number 3, string 5, fret 3, and that's a chord of C. Chord of D, first finger, string 3, fret 2, second finger, string 1, fret 2, and third finger, string 2, fret 3. Now ideally with the chord of D, you should try and strum only from the 4th string, because the bottom 2 notes don't really fit with the chord. It doesn't really matter if you hit them, but just aim for the highest pitched 4 strings. So the actual chord sequence for the introduction on the verse, we've got chord of E minor for 1 bar, 2, 3, 4, chord of C for a bar, 3, 4, chord of D, 2, 3, 4, then chord of G, then back to chord of D. So the last bar, it's just 2 beats on each of the G and D. 1, 2, 1, 2. And that goes all the way through the introduction and the verses. And as it says on the music, which presumably you've got in front of you, you repeat that 3 times for each verse. So at speed, you can add a strumming pattern, or you can just simply play the chords. Completely up to you. But this, just to run through it once. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's E minor, C, D, G, then D. Nice and simple. Now if you want to play the slightly more advanced version, then it's written out in Guitar tab at the top of the sheet music there in front of you. And it goes for the introduction, and you can play it throughout the verse as well. Now I'm not going to go into it in too much detail because I'll assume that you can, if you're going to have a go at this more advanced thing, then you already a player and you can read tab and work it out for yourself. But sort of really basically it starts off on an E minor chord, and then you've got this little repeated riff on the 3rd string and a pull off at the end. Sorry, something like that. This is obviously my version. If you think you can work out an easy way or a better way of doing it, please feel free to do so. So it does it on a chord of E minor, And I'm just adding string 3 fret 2 here using my third finger, then switches to a chord of C and pretty much does the same thing. And I'm going to bring this finger down here again, and it's a pull off on the third, which I can't do very well. Pull off on the third string. Now then it goes to a chord of D, and if you want to play it as the record, it does a hammer on string 6, and the only way I can work out to do it is actually using your thumb. So if you watch my thumb, so the thumb is hammering on from the note E to F sharp in the 2nd fret, but then it's basically a chord of D, and it's got that same pull off, same place, 3rd string, 2nd fret, and then it just does a chord of G, then chord of D. So if I try that just through slowly, I'll probably get it wrong, so do bear with me. Something like, but obviously work out your own version. Chord of C, chord of D with a hammer on, chord of G, then chord of D. You can work out your own version of that. But that is more advanced. Don't worry about that at all, you know, unless you have been playing for a while. The chorus on the 2nd side of the sheet, reasonably simple. The chords, we've had them all before. It's a chord of C. So it's C for 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, then D. So it's C for 4. Then G for 1, 2, then D for 2. And that does 4 times through the chorus, and obviously you can add your strumming pattern if you want. G, then D. Then, after it's gone through for the 4th time, the last line, we've just got a chord of C for 2 bars. Then it's back to the verse. Okay, so the last line you've got there is just simply 2 bars with a chord, 2 bars of a chord of C, and then it's back. Obviously, have a listen to the music to work out where the various bits happen and how best. And if you want to work out a slightly different way of doing it, then that's completely up to you.